I don't know why I have to stream like this. It didn't give me another option. Hello to everybody who's just joining or not joining or gonna watch the replay. What's this? I hate when YouTube keeps changing their stuff, man. It's like frustrating. Okay. Anyhow, I already concealed my face. I'm gonna start with the blur your skin Charlotte Tilbury. Absolutely love it. I could see why everyone was raving about it. But this is not why I'm choosing to go live for members before I actually go live. It's what happened yesterday. And if you're under a rock and you don't know what happened yesterday, President Trump, or former President Trump, hi Mayor, was shot at a rally. And that's what I want to talk about today. You don't have to like him. Hi, Michelle. You don't have to like President Trump to know that this was wrong, okay? It's not okay. No, it's not. And we all have our theories. We all have our ideas. And that's what we're here for. We're here to discuss it and talk. And it was hard for me not to post on this as much as I wanted to last night. But I know that when I'm in the heat of the moment, I shouldn't be on social media at all. Because I might say something that's cruel and mean and unusual. Because my response to stuff like when I get scared or grieving, like if I grieve, my first response is anger. That's always my first response is anger. I worked really hard to try not to have that be my first response, as I am Christian. And in order for me to be a true Christian, I have to live by that. No matter how hard it is for me, I have to live by it. And so I didn't post about it. I did say something on TikTok that I think people are probably going to misread. So I corrected myself a little bit. But all in all, you don't have to like Trump to see that this was wrong and this shouldn't be happening in our country. So the kid was 20, registered as a Republican, which I find quite funny because he donated money to Democrats not too long ago. So that doesn't make no sense, but okay. I don't understand why there weren't special agents on rooftops, because usually when you have like rallies and you're protecting a president or a former president or whatever, if you know that there's going to be like a public rally such as the one yesterday, all your bases should be covered. There should be a special agent on top of roofs, there should be, and there was none of that. So that's how this guy was able to kill just a random person showing his support for Trump and attempt to assassinate President Trump. Why are my wipes? They're not down. Oh yeah, they are. I have to go get them. Hold on. So that's where my concern mainly lies. I mean, I can go into the others, which I might, but I have to save my energy. So I have to unbox a couple boxes that I'm falling behind on my BoxyCharm because it's summer and the kids are home 24/7 and we're doing school again and I got to keep them busy, right? So been able to go live. I haven't been able to go live as much as I'd want to. Did you? Yeah, I didn't go over my June box. Which I'm going to go live for. This is for members only right now. But I was going to talk about Trump before I delve into my boxes for everyone else, right? The main questions I have is how come Secret Service wasn't on those buildings? You know, that's the main question I have. Does that lead me to believe certain things? Yes. It leads me to believe perhaps they purposely allowed this to happen, which I don't like to think that way, but it's kind of looking that way. There's this one lady I watch. She talks about controlling your emotions and everything else. And she used to be a former Secret Service. And everybody I know or know of that were former Secret Service, they're having those same kinds of questions because they're like, well, then how come there wasn't? There's always supposed to be like a sniper on the highest point, so that way, if anything pops off, they can take them down instantaneously. And that didn't happen here. So we need to start asking the powers that be, why did that not happen? Do I think it was on purpose? I personally deep down do, but that might change because this just barely happened. And my first thoughts and feelings are always very enraged when something like this happens. Like I get very mad. And so I don't want to say anything that I don't really mean, you know? And I always say I'm a left-leaning Republican, and I kind of want to change that because I'm more of a Democratic-leaning Republican, what Democrats used to be, not the Democrats of now. So I wouldn't say I'm a left-leaning Republican, but I'm more of a, you know, I voted Democrat my whole life until President Trump. So I'm fairly new to being a Republican, and I think that goes with age, because as you get older, you have a family, you own a home, you know, typically. I mean, I'm not saying everybody, you know, has that, but usually your views become more conservative as you get older. I think that's just the facts of life. I think you get smarter, you get hip to shit that you normally, you know what I mean? You learn more about life, and so you know more. I personally think we need to stop voting outside of red and blue, which is actually a common thought, probably when I was younger. I thought that way, like back in the day, because they only give you the two options, you know, and I don't really like that. But that being said, this is a sad day. This is a sad day for our country, and you know, what I ask myself is, what if this were to happen to Biden, like hypothetical, right? And I'm not Biden's fan at all by any means. But if this were to happen to him, I'd feel the same. I would be upset. I'd be scared. It'd be gut-wrenching. Yeah, it's registered independent. Yeah, it sucks here because where I live, if you register as one thing, that's what you are. Like, I remember when ballots, I don't know if they're still like this, but in California, you could just be like declined to state and then pick when it's time to vote, which I prefer that way a lot better because, you know, what if you change? You know, what if you change your mind? Good morning, whatever. So, but as it stands, and for the past elections, I've been voting Republican ever since Trump came into office. Now, I know a lot of you guys don't like him. I get that. But to have something like this happen, you need to put your, you know, little anti-Trump cap aside for a moment and really look at what's happening to this country, because it's bad. It's not good. It is also sad. It is sad. I mean, I almost cried last night. I almost was crying, literally. And I'm like, what the heck? Really? Like, I'm really gonna, it was really gut-wrenching for me. And I mean, many of you have lived through assassination attempts, right? I think this is my first one that I've lived through when it comes to an assassination attempt on a president. Yeah, this is the only one that I've lived through. You're a Republican? Okay, right on. Yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't a Republican for a long time. And I think that goes to say for most of us too. Well, at least some of us, not most. But as you get older, you tend to gravitate to more conservative ideas. And there's a lot of reasons for that. Like I said, people are having families now. They own homes, you know. stuff like that. And that kind of helps your voting, where as when I was younger, I lived in kind of a bad area and had a single parent, and things weren't I don't know how to put this. Yeah, you just grow up. You learn. You grow up and you learn. Okay, you grow up and you learn, and you see what works and what doesn't. With that being said, there are people that do vote Democrat though, because they're for their own rights, right? So, and that's understandable. But I've put my own rights at risk many times voting Democrat, just because I thought it was better for all the people rather than just me. But as you get older and you have a family, you got to start voting for what's right for them, right? That kind of guides your voting, not so much yourself anymore. I've always been registered Republican. My parents were, but we vote with the person we think is the best job. Yeah, regardless of party. Yep, that's how I am. And I haven't seen anybody come from the Democratic Party that's worth even putting a. I mean, I'm kind of listening to RFK. I know you guys probably will think I'm crazy. I've been listening to RFK a lot. And I was actually thinking about changing my vote to independent. But since this happened, I think that just solidifies that I'm just going to stick with Trump, Whereas I was thinking about, I was thinking about, screw this, I'm just going to go for it. And now I'm like, nah, no, but it's just solidified that I need to stay where I'm at. One of the biggest things my daughter misses is talking to dad before elections. They talk politics since she was 8. That's cute. And that's why I always watch out, like, how I talk in front of my kids too. Like, I come off to you guys a lot nicer than what I'm actually thinking and feeling, because I know that there's people that I care about, or that I'm friends with, or even people that I just maybe support online. I don't know, that are Democrats, right? And I want to make an example of how one should react, even if they think certain kind of ways or feel some kind of way. The way to react to it is very hard, because I want to say some stuff that I'm not going to. Trust me, I'm a lot cooler online. No, like, for real. But I want everyone to see, like, my governor, I kind of like him. He's Republican, but he is trying to get Americans to be able to argue better, like disagree better, right? Just because we disagree with something or we don't like something, it doesn't mean that it's no holds barred, and you have to become some vigilante. Like, that's freaking ridiculous. And the fact that this is where we're at in this country is beyond me. I don't understand it. I don't think it's okay. It's happened before. This isn't a one of, but it hasn't happened in a really long time. You tried it. Well, you know what? I don't want to. The only thing I'm trying to avoid is to not be what I hate. Okay. And what I hate are people that are sitting here thinking, oh, at least, oh, too bad he missed, that kind of behavior. I hate that. Anybody that's like that or thinks that way, to me, we have nothing in common. We to me, you're of the devil, okay? And I'm trying to be the opposite of you, as hard as that may be, but I practice it daily. I do. And I pray on it constantly. Because I'm trying to be a true Christian, not these little false ones running around being assholes to people and being like, I'm Christian. Like, no, you're not. Please stop. But I'm trying to be real. Be right back. Okay. Division and hatred shouldn't run rampant. Thank you. It shouldn't. It doesn't matter which party you're affiliated with. It's relevant. Like, if this would have happened to Biden, I'd still be freaking out. Like, I'd still be like, you know, because this shouldn't happen. This shouldn't happen, period, at all. And that's where I go into why the Secret Service was not prepared as they should have been, you know? And that makes me think all conspiracy theory like, because why did this even freaking happen? You know, this shouldn't have happened, period. So, with that being said, my heart is really heavy right now. And I'm going to try my best to not be one-sided and patronizing. I'm just kidding. Even though that's where that's where my mind wants to go, but my heart tells me otherwise. My heart says, stop that. That's not you, right? And I'm going to go with that. Hi, computer. Happy to see you. I'm a little concerned, to say the least. I'm a little shook. But I think we need to come together. Like my governor, he's like, we need to have a better way of arguing. We need to have a better way of disagreeing. Just because you disagree with someone does not mean that they don't exist anymore. The whole importance in our democracy and being the country that we are is that the importance of being able to throw ideas at each other, even if they're differing. We need to find middle ground, okay? Because that will help everybody, you know? And the only way you get to learn from each other is actually having conversation. You know, if you just, I hate these kinds of people because I hate them and there's nothing else and you're not going to change on that, then, you know, there's no growth for you, okay? You're just going to be the same angry person. That sucks. I don't want that for anybody. Oh, no worries. I'm just putting a face on. I'm not really going to do a look until I go live for everybody else, but I had to get this off my chest because I voted, like I said, I was talking in the past, I voted Democrat even though I knew it wouldn't really help me, but it would help others. And I kind of feel like a lot of left-leaning people need to look at that as well. I know we are human, and I understand that our main cause is to help ourselves. But we need to start looking outside of that and start looking at like what's best for the country as a whole, not so much just you know, no offense. I mean, I understand voting for like how I vote more conservative now that I have kids, you know. I understand if I didn't have kids, that probably would be different. So, I call on people to kind of look at what's going on as a whole. It's like, take aside, I know it's so hard. I understand it's super hard, but put aside your personal shit, your personal beliefs, you and what you want. Put that aside just for a second, okay? Just for like a millisecond. And look at what's good for America as a whole. If I was being honest with myself, I probably would say an independent candidate, but it's so crucial that we need protection right now. And we need a strong leader. It doesn't matter what he's done in the past, what he said, his character. What matters is he'll get the job done. Okay. He'll probably get us out of debt. You know, like we need to think about things like that. Think about what this country needs right this moment, you know? Oh no, I'm just still kind of ranting and asking people to kind of think outside of their own personal needs. You know, I know it's very hard, but I voted off of not counting my personal needs with Barack. I did twice. Wait, no, not twice. I'm trying to think who. My voting days are getting all mixed up. Sorry, I messed up. Okay, sorry. I voted outside of what's good for me when I voted for Barack Obama because I knew he was going to get health care for a lot of people. And I'm like, sure, that sounds good. But then it turned out to be all jacked up. Like I had to pay like $300 a month to have health care. And I wasn't thinking about myself, was I? No, I wasn't. And that's what we need to do. We need to, think about everyone as a whole. Okay. I know it's hard to do. It's very hard to do. It's very difficult to take out your needs and wants out of something like politics, right? I agree, Michelle. And they do it on purpose. And that's why I don't want to fall into that. Their mind bullshit. Like, I don't want to fall into that. So easily I can turn radical Republican. I can. I'm being real with you. I easily can. Okay. But I'm choosing to be grown in this situation and to be a real Christian, not these false ones that pretend everyone's going to hell. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to bring people to religion as opposed to against. Okay. And you spouting off what you think is going to happen to certain people isn't really what the religion even stands for, in my opinion, at least Christianity. If you're really going off of what real Christianity is about. But nobody does that for some reason. Good morning, Ricky. See, here's a perfect example. Ricky don't like Trump. But he was live saying this shouldn't happen. This shouldn't happen. And that's why I get along with people that are able to step outside of their own their own personal wants and thoughts and be like, yeah, this isn't good for America. It does not matter what party you stand with. It does not matter. And I thank you for that, for saying that, Ricky, because a lot of people right now are like, at least the comments that I've been watching live streams about this all night, and to watch the chat. I mean, granted, a lot of them are probably trolls, but there's some people that are like genuinely still in their political mindset, like, being total asses. It's like, wow, can you just for a minute try to act like a normal person? Like, just act like a decent individual. And it's hard for me, you guys. This isn't just, I'm not just talking about y'all. I'm talking about for myself too. For me, when I say this, I'm talking to me too. Okay. I'm trying to convince myself of this as well, just as I'm trying to convince you of it. I'm not, trust and believe. I'm a full-blown fascist behind my thoughts. Okay. It's bad. Okay. But I try to push myself away from that because that's not of God. Okay. That's not of God. Right. But it's a fascist and a more of a like, let's create fascism for our religion. This is how it is, and that's just wrong. Okay. I have to think about others. Okay. Think about other people. And I think it's human. It's human to feel angry. It's human, but first president to start pushing the division between both sides. Obama is the first. Okay. Yeah. That's a good, interesting take. So many people abuse the free healthcare because it's free. Man, I don't think that was what it was intended for. Obama meant that to happen. Well, I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, I don't. I have apologized many times for voting for him, though, like when I'm in a chat, but I'll openly say I voted for him, though, because I was voting for what was best for a lot of people, like the poor people and the people that need it the most. You know what I mean? And with that being said, though, we need to take care of our middle class. Hi. I'm literally $200 from our annual income. I'm literally like $200 away from being on the poor level. Okay. 200 or something, like, it's ridiculous. Might have gone up since I last checked, but I am a little bit on the lower end, but I'm middle class. We're middle class, me and my husband. I don't want to bring anyone to religion. I want them to come to Christ and relationships with God. Yeah, well, the thing is, though, is not at all you, obviously, but what I see is these religious folks. I like to share the word of God. I like to share the intention of our Lord and Savior, in hopes that you understand that these hypocritical people condemning everyone to hell are not Christian. I want them to know what true Christ-like behavior is. It's not any of this on either side of the coin at all. It's quite furthest from, what Christ talks about and how to be and to help one another and everything else. Very opposite. And I want to kind of break that perspective because it's not true. Okay, it's just not. It's not. And so I try to, in a sense, help people that maybe have steered away from him for these types of radical people to come back to him. I mean, am I capable of doing that? I don't know. I'm only human. I'm me. I have a very small channel, so it's highly unlikely. But I just want to know that my Christianity is being presented as such. True Christianity, not these false people that are claiming to be Christian and turn around and be the most evil fucks on earth. I think people wanting America to become a Christian nationalist nation are not Christians in any way, shape, or form. That's interesting. I think you should be able to marry. It is civil rights. Yeah. And that's where the separation of church and state comes in, which I'm on the fence about that. I was totally for it, but seeing what a world looks like without God, I'm sorry, y'all, it's kind of scary. It's a little scary. It's a little disheartening. And that's why we're having this crazy shit happen, because how long have we taken out of God out of the Pledge of Allegiance, Truly. I mean, think about that. And then look at what it's equaled. So I don't know. I'm on the fence about that. Every country in the world leads with their religion. How come we can't? I'm not saying condemn all non-Christians. No, I'm saying if our country was built on Christianity, how come we can't lead with that? But every country in the world can lead on their religion. When I was young, I never got into politics because I just felt like the government overall was corrupt. It is, and only cared about the power. They are. Yep. They're creating chaos. They're trying to divide us. You guys, we need to find commonality. We need to find what it is we agree on, okay? We need to find truth. And the way to do that is to discuss with people what they think and how they feel and blah, 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 blah. And you guys got to find a middle ground. You can't just go, because you don't think the way I do, you're dead to me. Like, it's never been like that in the whole history of America, okay? Ever. So it leads me to thinking perhaps we need a little more Christianity in this world than I once thought. Maybe I'm just basing this off of current events and what's going on in the world. Okay. Yeah. And that's good and all until, something serious happens. Like, God forbid, you have a dying loved one, or I don't know, then you start to pray, right? Or I don't know you personally. I could be wrong, but that's my assumption. And so we need to start leading with it a little bit, I think. Start going to God a little more. Just because you go to God doesn't mean, you think all these people are going to hell. That's not of Christ. All these crazy Christians that only want to represent, things that could trigger someone or, hurt somebody. They only want to talk, that's what it is. No, we have to come together, period, point blank. It doesn't matter. We do, especially as a country. And I think we can do that in God. And I'm hopeful. But it's almost like a crime to be Christian anymore. That's what I've noticed, and it's scary. And that's why I live in a Republican state, because I'm like, I'm not even trying to fuck with that, because that scares me, because our whole country is based off of having your own beliefs and being able to have them, right? But then how come when people have beliefs, that aren't the same as yours, that's wrong, right? We need to look at that. Because, like, when you take God out of things, look what happens. There's literally people that don't believe in anything, right? But themselves, which is, I used to be an atheist. I'm not gonna lie. I can sit here and lie to you. I used to be. Um, but getting sober made me realize that there's more to life than just myself. Like, wait a second. it was a come to God experience. Eventually, it became one. And I don't expect everyone to have the same beliefs and the same religion, the same set, things that they find important in life. No, but we need to come to a middle ground. Okay, this far right and this far left, they need to be reeled in a bit. Okay, and then we need to be able to discuss things without it turning into a fight and disowning one another and hating each other. And that's true. To me, that's what Christ would want, in my opinion. I pray on it a lot, and I was thinking about doing like reading, like Bible readings and ASMR and stuff, but I don't want to turn people off. But I just wanted to put like the ones that are like from Jesus's voice only and his words only. I'm out of poverty. Yeah. Get disability. I would just be a tea bag. Just be a tea bag. Yeah. But to see our country in such a bad place, like I feel like we must lead with it a little more. And those of us that are real Christians, not these fake ones. I call them fake ones because they basically only want their will to be done, right? Which I totally disagree with. But to be real, right? To love everybody. And, that's how we should be. I don't understand. But this whole rhetoric and with taking God out of schools and stuff and replacing it with a flag that has to do with your sexual preference, I just find odd. I find that to be odd. Like, if it was like an anti-bullying flag that had nothing to do with sexual preference, that would be a bit different. But the fact that we can't even discuss GOD, right? But we can discuss, like, what do you identify as, little kid? I don't understand how that's going to help anybody. It's really going to fuck people's brains up, especially little kids and they're just developing. And I stand by that. If you want to have that, then I think, I've always believed in the ability to have church and state separated. I really have. But I'm starting to go down that hole where I think almost maybe it shouldn't be. Just because I see what taking God out of the equation does to the country that was built on God, right? So I am being very conservative with how I feel. I could totally be like, and just have diarrhea of the mouth and just regret it and hate myself later. And I'm not going to do that. As hard as that may be for me, because I just say what I say, right? And I don't think about the consequences, and I don't think about what people think of it. I'm starting to grow up where I actually care more, which is weird. I never cared before. They've taken God out of everything, and that's what's wrong with this country. I agree. Just be this tea-bag steep in good things. Well, I know, but a good thing would be bringing Republicans and Democrats together to find a middle ground to stop this from happening. Its country was built on many religions and cultures, not just one. I know. I mean, if you talk about the Native Americans, which I'm Native, by the way, okay? My grandmother was born and raised on a reservation. I get that. No, I get it. But the people who actually found the country on the map to be able to make a map of the world, they found it. They were Christian. That's what I'm talking about. So we need to have like an in-between. Like we need to have, the powers that be come together and find things that we can all agree on and that we're all okay with, Hi, Elizabeth. Instead of creating division, It's like they just keep doubling down on their division. You got the radical left, which are Democrats now, which is really scary. And then you got the radical right, which are these really creepy, staunch conservative Republicans that are just They're both taking shit away from each other and fighting and being this mess of, and to me that's of the devil. That's not of God. Okay. Just that in its own, that clusterfuck. Once God's in politics. Yeah, I don't know. I'm still on the fence about that, Ricky. I'm still on the fence about that because I've seen what happened when we pledge allegiance to God, right? Back when I was growing up. And then compared to now, which thank God, thank you. In my state, they still say, God in the pledge allegiance. And I feel like that's so important. And if you don't even have to call it God, call it higher power, whatever is above you, right? That exists, that created everything. We need to focus on that. Okay. It's important because you got to put yourself aside. I know, again, it's very hard for people to do. So hard, but we got to try. Like, I'm putting myself aside, saying lots of things that I'm saying and holding back quite a bit. Okay. Love you. Thank you for stopping in. Because I'm trying to think of the wellness of everyone, not just me, not just myself. Although granted, I do think about my children mostly when I do vote. Hence the reason why I am conservative. But it's about protecting our kids. Like, whenever it turned into protecting men in dresses was more important than my child, that's when I became like, okay, like, no, the devil can be very tricky and make you think that you're, oh, cool. Well, good. I'm glad it got put in there in 1950. You guys, I rely on God to help me literally hour by hour. So say, oh, you put something in the Pledge of Allegiance in 1954 that the only way I'm alive right now, that's good in my eyes, right? I love you. I'm honestly upset about Trump, what happened, and I'm just trying to pray on it and come up with something that we can all agree on, and figure it out, Let's all figure it out together as opposed as separate. They're trying to divide us and it's working. That's what scares me. And I don't want to be a part of that at all. We need to come together, folks. I'm going to let this concealer sit for a while we talk. And then I'll probably go live. I've been talking for almost 40 minutes now, and I still have to do 2 unboxings. But yeah, that was harsh for me last night. That was a little much for me. I kind of had a panic attack, I want to say. And usually stuff like this, I honestly was expecting this to happen. I was surprised that it took so long. I know it sounds awful, right? I was actually surprised that he hadn't been shot at yet, to be real with you. So when it finally happened, it's not that I was too much shocked that it happened. It just, I was right. And I don't like that. They just sent him to another school, and her dad was at the school. Wait, hold on. And the school knew about it and protected. Yeah. Yeah. Like when a full-grown man, okay, and he doesn't even look. See, now I'm going to start to sound like Blair. I don't want to sound like Blair. I don't want to sound like Blair. I love Blair, don't get me wrong. I want to be a little nicer. Shit. Okay. Blair White. I love her, by the way. Okay, so full blown ass grown man, okay, with a beard, looks like a dude in a dress. His rights are much more important than my 7-year-old daughter. In what world? I'm gonna get heated. I don't want to be heated. No, don't get heated. If you don't see the bullshit in that, if you don't see that that's wrong, you need to start dialing it back a little bit, okay? Just dial it back, right? And just let that sink in. Think about that. Oh, Michelle. Yeah, that's going to make me upset. Yeah, you got tired of seeing it over. It was too much. Yeah, I went down the rabbit hole and I stayed awake until I could find out who the fuck this kid was. First it was an Asian man, and then it turned into who he was, who actually did the shooting. But this world's falling apart. And it's going to continue to fall apart if we can't come together on some stuff, right? We each have to let a little bit of our what we want go. Just a little, so we can come together in between. You know what I mean? To protect this nation and this country and why it's so great. There has to be a meeting of minds in the middle. But now the leaders that be, the powers that be, are constantly fighting and constantly, doubling down. And that's just gonna create what's happening right now. Oh no, I cuss all the time too, Ricky. I'm not worried about your language. I'm trying to hold back. I would like to say a lot more, but again, keeping in mind people that I may support on this platform, or may support me, or perhaps I'm friends with, or whatever the case may be. I want to be respectful to everybody. The media is making so many assumptions. We need to see how it unfolded. Exactly. It didn't have to be political. True. That's a good point too. But the thing is why weren't my only qualm with this is how come there weren't Secret Service at an angle where they could see all of everything below, all the surrounding buildings? Because from what I know is typically when you have Secret Service involved, there's people on buildings, there's people, in the crowd, there's people, that's usually how they do things. And I don't understand why, I'm confused. At least explain it to me to where I can understand. Was it because that they did have someone above all the entire crowd and that's all they were worried about? What's protocol? These types of things need to be discussed and talked about and explained, I feel like, more. Because it sounds to me like, I don't know, I just don't understand that. And I'm so tan. Oh, gosh. Anyway. But I just had to get this off my chest so that way I don't slip up while I'm unboxing a BoxyCharm and I'm like, I just want it to be about the boxes, as hard as that's going to be for me. Yeah, right, Ricky? It's just weird. It's just weird, guys. I don't understand. There's a few things that I'm kind of like I'm questioning, And I don't want to be like, oh, F the Secret Service or anything like that. I just want to understand why there wasn't anybody covering above all the rooftops. How come that wasn't a thing? And if it's not a thing, then we need to make it a thing. But from what I understand, talking to people that were part of Secret Service, watching people that were part of the Secret Service, knowing people that are in the military, typically that's a thing. They actually go up on the highest point so they can see all the building tops and make sure nothing like this happens. It doesn't mean that, I don't know. Were they in cahoots? I don't know. It looks like it. Do they want it to look like that? I don't know. I'm just trying to we need to find a middle ground so this chaos stops, guys. Hi, Sylvia. Oh, I'm trying to think when I mailed that out. I'm like, did you get it yet? I'm all excited. Did you get it yet? Because Sylvia Jackson, she's the one who won the giveaway last. I'm excited. I was like a little kid. But we just need to come together as a country. I know I'm getting ready for church too. Good on us. See? I know that's going to calm me down, right? I'm not going to have any heart palpitations after I go to church, hopefully. That is the goal. Yeah, so God bless the families of anybody that was, that one man who did pass away because of the shooting. And you know, God bless Trump, because I mean, what, like him, love him, or hate him, a bullet did graze him, or did he actually have a bullet in his head? I don't know. In his ear, I mean. Yes, Ricky, they looked like they were totally unprepared. Yeah. And like, that needs to be fixed, you know? I mean, if this is what, like, that's not good. Like, even, like I said, I say this, if this happened to Biden, I would probably be just as upset, because this shouldn't be happening. Doesn't matter if I don't like Biden. That's irrelevant. What matters is what's happening to our country. People can't even have differing views without trying to get shot at. That's not okay. End of, right? Aw, good for you, Ricky. I need to start doing more of that, actually. I leave it upon whoever, like, whether it be the priest or the pastor or whomever's speaking. I need to start actually doing my own reading. I need to get like a Bible for idiots or something, because I don't understand half the shit I read. I think it goes for most of us, right? At least for me, and I'm just being real with it. But yeah, I mean, we need to come together. Don't let this divide us further. Please don't let this divide us further. That's what they want. No, ma'am. No, sir. We're going to show them how it's done, right? If anything, this should bring America closer together, I hope. With that being said, I'm going to go live with my unboxings, and I'm going to try a new palette that I got in one of my BoxyCharms to hurry up and get ready for church, because that's actually what I'm doing, is getting ready for church. Where's my, oh, I don't have a rock star. I had a rock star. I have to go get my rock star too. So I'll be back. Bye for everyone. I just wanted to get your guys' thoughts and your opinions and what you're concerned about, you know? You to start at the beginning, right? Yeah. Well, I mean, I had Sunday school. I mean, I had, you know, but I actually want to study the Bible, like, straight up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, honestly, it's just a matter of finding time, which I need to carve out time for that. If I have time to put makeup on, I have time to read the Bible. Thank you. Okay, with that being said, I have to hurry this along. I'm sorry if I just rambled on, and I'm not trying to be offensive, or I'm not trying to hurt anybody. I think we're all God's children. It doesn't matter. Okay? And we need to come together as a country. Doesn't matter if you're Democrat, doesn't matter if you're Republican. We need to come together. We need to find middle ground and pray on that. Have a blessed day, everyone. Bye, Ricky. Bye, Elizabeth. Bye, Sylvia. Bye, everybody. Michelle. Everybody that was here to listen to me rant. You know, even though I'm holding back a lot, Mayor's daughter was here. Even though I'm holding back a lot, you know, it's all in hopes to help us come together. Love you guys. And I'll be live for everyone else for my BoxyCharms boxes. Okay. See you soon.